Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur, Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Thank you very much, Pinky. All right. So we are now going to continue our reading and discussion. Yeah, it's chapter 2, text 37, I believe. Would you want to read that, Mr. Pravin?
Yes, sir. Haribol.
Thank you, Haribol.
Translation. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up and fight with determination. Purport. Even though there was no certainty of victory for Arjun's side, he still had to fight, for even being killed there, he would be elevated into the heavenly planets. Shall I continue?
Continue.
Text 38.
Yeah, please.
Text 38. Translation. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. Purport. Lord Krishna now directly says that Arjun should fight for the sake of fighting because he desires the battle. There is no consideration of happiness or distress, profit or gain, victory or defeat in the activities of Krishna consciousness. That everything should be performed for the sake of Krishna is transcendental consciousness. So there is no reaction to material activities. He who acts for his own sense gratification, either in goodness or in passion, is subject to the reaction, good or bad. But he who has completely surrendered himself into the activities of Krishna consciousness is no longer obliged to anyone, nor is he a debtor to anyone as one in the ordinary course of activities. It is said that anyone who has completely surrendered unto Krishna, Mukund, giving up all other duties, is no longer a debtor, nor is he nor is he obliged to anyone, not the demigods, nor the sages, nor the people in general, nor kinsmen, nor humanity, nor forefathers. That is the indirect hint given by Krishna to Arjun in this verse, and the matter will be more clearly explained in the following verses. Haribol.
Haribol, thank you very much, Mr. Pravin. So Krishna here is telling Arjuna, because it is your duty as a Kshatriya to fight. Yeah, and it is my wish, my desire that this battle occurs because I want to speak the Bhagavad Gita. So you have to fight, whether you live or you die. If you die, immediately you go to the heavenly planets. So there is no fear, because Arjuna was fearing about how many deaths will it take during this battle. Yeah, there will for him this battle is just unnecessary war for him. Okay, because there will be lots of death that will happen. There will be uh, anger and hatredness that's going to happen between these two great families. Um, so for him, it's better not to fight. Just let them win, okay, by default. So Krishna acted as his spiritual master here. Krishna said that don't worry about it. Don't worry about killing or being killed, because after all, no one is going to get killed in the truest sense of the word. No one dies in the truest sense now. So he says, if you're afraid to die, don't worry, because if for any circumstances you die in the battle, 100% you go to the heavenly planets, because that is the protocol of the Kshatriyas. No, in the Vedas, a Kshatriya, when killed in the battlefield, automatically goes to the heavenly planets, no, the higher planetary systems. So Krishna is saying, you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to worry about the present situation. Just follow my orders. That is, in fact, what Lord Krishna was telling Arjuna. Okay, next reader time.
I'll just
Read.
read na lang po. Yes po. Text
Okay.
39, translation. Thus far I have declared to you the analytical knowledge of Sankhya philosophy. Now listen to the knowledge of yoga whereby one works without fruitive result. O son of Partha, when you act by such intelligence, you can free yourself from the bondage of works, purport. According to the Nirukti or the Vedic dictionary, Sankhya means that which describes phenomena in detail, and Sankhya refers to that philosophy which describes the real nature of the soul. And yoga involves controlling the senses. Arjuna's proposal not to fight was based on sense gratification. Forgetting his prime duty, he wanted to cease fighting because he thought that by not killing his relatives and kinsmen, he would be happier than by enjoying the kingdom by conquering his cousins and brothers, the son of Dhritarashtra. In both ways, the basic principles were for sense gratification. Happiness derived from conquering them and happiness derived by seeing kinsmen alive are both on the basis of personal sense gratification. For there is a sacrifice of wisdom and duty. Krishna therefore wanted to explain to Arjuna that by killing the body of his grandfather, he would not be killing the soul proper, and he explained that all individual persons, including the Lord himself, are eternal individuals. They were individuals in the past, they are individuals in the present, and they will continue to remain individuals in the future, because all of us are individual souls eternally, and we simply change our bodily dress in different manners. But actually, we keep our individuality even after liberation from the bondage of material dress. An analytical study of the soul and the body has been graphically explained by Lord Krishna. And this descriptive knowledge of the soul and the body from different angles of vision has been described here as Sankhya in terms of the Nirukti dictionary. This Sankhya has nothing to do with the Sankhya philosophy of the atheist Kapila. Long before the impostor Kapila's Sankhya, the Sankhya philosophy was expounded in the Srimad Bhagavatam by the true Lord Kapila, the incarnation of Lord Krishna, who explained it to his mother Devahuti. It is clearly explained by him that the Purusa, or the Supreme Lord, is active and that he creates by looking over the Prakriti. This is accepted in the Vedas and in the Gita. The description in the Vedas indicates that the Lord glanced over the Prakriti, or nature, and impregnated it with atomic individual souls. All these individuals are working in the material world for sense gratification, and under the spell of material energy, they are thinking of being enjoyers. This mentality is dragged to the last point of liberation when the living entity wants to become one with the Lord. This is the last snare of Maya or sense gratificatory illusion, and it is only after many, many births of such sense gratificatory activities that a great soul surrenders unto Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, thereby fulfilling the search after the ultimate truth. Arjuna has already accepted Krishna as his spiritual master by surrendering himself unto him. Consequently, Krishna will now tell him about the working process of Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga, or in other words, the practice of devotional service only for the sense gratification of the Lord. This Buddhi Yoga is clearly explained in chapter 10, verse 10, as being direct communion with the Lord, who is sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart. But such communion does not take place without devotional service. One who is therefore situated in devotional or transcendental loving service to the Lord, or in other words, in Krishna consciousness, attains to this stage of Buddhi Yoga by the special grace of the Lord. The Lord says, therefore, that only those who are always engaged in devotional service out of transcendental love does He award the pure knowledge of devotion and love. In that way, the devotee can reach Him easily in the ever blissful kingdom of God. Thus, the Buddhi Yoga mentioned in this verse is the devotional service of the Lord, and the word Sankhya mentioned herein has nothing to do with the atheistic Sankhya Yoga enunciated by the impostor Kapila. One should not therefore misunderstand that the Sankhya Yoga mentioned herein has any connection with the atheistic Sankhya, nor did that philosophy have any influence during that time. Nor would Lord Krishna care to mention such godless philosophical speculations. Real Sankhya philosophy is described by Lord Kapila in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but even that Sankhya has nothing to do with the current topics. Here, Sankhya means analytical description of the body and the soul. Lord Krishna made an analytical description of the soul just to bring Arjuna to the point of Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Lord Krishna's Sankhya and Lord Kapila's Sankhya, as described in the Bhagavatam, are one and the same. They are all Bhakti Yoga. He said, therefore, that only the less intelligent class of men make a distinction between Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Of course, atheistic Sankhya Yoga has nothing to do with Bhakti Yoga, yet the unintelligent claim that the atheistic Sankhya Yoga is referred to in the Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore understand that Buddhi Yoga means to work in Krishna consciousness in the full bliss and knowledge of devotional service. One who works for the satisfaction of the Lord only, however difficult such work may be, is working under the principles of Buddhi Yoga and finds himself always in transcendental bliss. By such transcendental engagement, one achieves all transcendental qualities automatically by the grace of the Lord, and thus his liberation is complete in itself, without making extraneous endeavors to acquire knowledge. There is much difference between work in Krishna consciousness and work in fruitive results, especially in the matter of sense gratification for achieving results in terms of family or material happiness. Buddhi Yoga is therefore the transcendental quality of the work that we perform. Haribol, namaste po.
Namaste. Thank you very much, Pinky. So, Krishna here is telling Arjuna that, listen, okay, I am going to describe to you, okay, this uh, Buddhi Yoga, which is a little different from Sankhya Yoga, because Krishna has already explained to him, to Arjuna, the analytical study of the body and the soul, di ba? For the soul, there is neither birth nor death, nor having once been does he ever cease to exist. That we are still on chapter 2, but the first portion of chapter 2 was um, was solely for the explanation of Krishna about Sankhya. Yeah, the science of identity, the essence part. That's why Srila Prabhupada gave us everything already. When we when we uh, when we speak about the science of identity, we do not only mean the essence of our identity, because understanding only the essence of our identity is incomplete. Even the impersonalists, they understand that they are aham brahmasmi. They understand that they are not the body, but they are spiritual beings. So simply understanding that essence part is incomplete. That's why when we talk about the science of identity, we refer to the essence, our position, and our function, like this. And now Krishna will be explaining to Arjuna uh, what Buddhi Yoga is. Buddhi Yoga is actually Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so uh, by which a person can engage in activity but is not bound by the reactions of that activity. He actually tells Arjuna that you can engage in activities. For some for some people who are untrained, they would look at devotees and say, "Oh, you guys are also practicing materialism because you work, you engage in activity, etc." Like that. No, parang there is no difference between what the karmis or the materialists do and you. The difference is that you have Krishna, you worship Krishna, but the activity is the same. Because there can be two people, no? One is cooking, the other one is cooking also. Yeah, both of them in a separate kitchen. This other one is cooking, this other one is cooking. But this other one, who is a devotee of the Lord practicing bhakti yoga, doesn't incur the karmic reactions of this cooking activity. While this one will incur because he is cooking for his own pleasure. He is cooking for his own self-interest. It can be cooking for the family. It can be cooking for himself. It can be cooking for friends, etc., etc. So this has karma, whereas this one doesn't have karma. Why? Because the cooking process is all offered to Krishna. When you offer everything to Krishna, so even what you eat, like this, is offered to Krishna. So when you cook, a devotee, when he cooks, for instance, he prays to Krishna, Krishna, please accept this humble offering. You have been maintaining me since the beginning of time. You have been feeding me since the beginning of time. No, since time immemorial, you have been taking good care of me. Now, Krishna, uh, I shall try to feed you. So please accept this humble offering. So the devotee, when he cooks, he makes sure that his cooking is very clean, very healthy, etc. Ganon. He is not cooking for himself. He's not cooking for another person, but he is actually cooking for Krishna. So this is Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, and this is uh, material activity. Even though this person may know that he is not the body. He may know, for example, the impersonalists. Okay, the impersonalists. because they totally deny Krishna's existence. They don't they don't offer their food to Krishna. Where do they offer the food to? They're offering to themselves because they think that they are Krishna. And some of them are thinking, you know, activity activity will lead to karma. Activity. Any activity we do in this world will lead to karma. This is what they're saying. Okay. So I might as well just meditate, sit down and meditate, etc., and not engage in activity. Because if I engage in activity, they know that there is karma to that. They know that. So I would not engage in any activity. But the problem is that, can you live in this world without eating? Can you live in this world without, without maintaining your body? You have to maintain your body. Otherwise, your body will die. Correct? So there is no problem with activity, actually. Krishna is telling Arjuna there is no problem with activity. But this activity must be centered around Krishna's pleasure. Krishna's pleasure and not your own pleasure. That way, that activity becomes devotional, becomes um, becomes very pleasing to Krishna because it is done with love and devotion to Krishna. Yeah. So because Krishna is pleased, that activity that you did actually is transcendental activity. That is transcendental activity. Okay. Now, the Sankhya philosophy being referred to here is not the same Sankhya philosophy espoused by the so-called Kapila. Yeah. Ano yun eh? That is not the real Kapila. If you want to learn about Sankhya philosophy espoused by the real Kapila, who is the incarnation of Krishna, you have to read the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam describes to us exactly what the real Sankhya means. The real Sankhya involves not only understanding our essence, but it also deals with our position as uh, a, a as a part and parcel of God, you know, uh, and that our natural function is to be engaged in the loving service of Krishna. That is the philosophy espoused by the real Kapila. The real Kapila. This so-called Kapila that is now uh, quite quite you know quite known to the world is actually uh, a fake Kapila, because this fake Kapila espouses atheism. No God, no God. There is no supreme Godhead. No. Um, so the question arises: are the impersonalists uh, also are to be considered materialists? Because they don't recognize Krishna as the supreme personality of God, and nor do they recognize a supreme being as a different from Krishna. They do not recognize any being at all as God, because what they misunderstand is that they are God. Aham brahmasmi soham. Aham brahmasmi means I am not the body, I am spiritual, And Soham means I am God. This is actually a very, very incorrect representation of the Vedanta Sutra. The impersonalists, the impersonalists, or the impersonalist viewpoint is actually Srila Prabhupada. I heard Srila Prabhupada spoke uh, about this a long time ago. He said that the impersonalist philosophy that I am God, therefore I am the enjoyer, therefore I am the controller, right? Therefore I own everything. Because I own everything, I am the controller and I am the enjoyer. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada is saying that that type of mindset, that type of philosophy will lead one to super materialism. Because what is the idea of a super materialist? The super materialist is I own everything that I survey. Everything that I do here, it is my own. It is after all, it is my strength. It is my uh, credit that I'm able to have all these things around surrounding me, etc. So I am the enjoyer because I own everything that I have. Yeah. So therefore, I can now say that I am the enjoyer, and because I am the enjoyer, I am God. Yeah. The same philosophy of the super materialist is being espoused by the impersonalist philosophers. So we should never be uh, swayed by the sweet words of some of the so-called philosophers have. They may dress as a yogis. They may or they may speak like they're very learned. Yeah, in the Vedic scriptures, they may speak like that. But when you try to check what they teach or what they follow as far as their personal practice in life, yeah, they're all I am Godists. I am God. There is a temple in India run by impersonalists. And they also have Krishna there in their altar. So, if you're a novice, you try to go there, they're also worshiping Krishna like that. But to them, Krishna is just a representation of themselves. Krishna, that's me. So sometimes you get to see temples. Uh, if that is the altar, at the side of the altar is a big mirror. Because, for example, if you're offering fire, or if you're offering air like this, yeah, you're giving air to Krishna. You're you're uh, you're offering this warmth so that Krishna will be relaxed, etc. But because that Krishna over there is me, yeah, and I look at the mirror and I'm going to fan that, I'm fanning myself. This is so ridiculous, no? No place in the Vaishnava vocabulary. This is actually self-centeredness. This is not God-centeredness. This is self-centeredness. The the description between Atma and Paramatma must be defined properly. Atma refers to the individual souls. You and I, we are all Atma. Atma means souls. Tayo lahat. We are souls. We are inside this body as souls. Okay? But there is another soul inside our body, and that is called the Paramatma. This Paramatma is not It's not accepted by the so-called impersonalists, by the impersonalist philosophers, Mayavadi impersonalists. They don't have they don't have uh, the definition to Paramatma. For them, everything is me. I am everything, and I am everyone. In other words, I am you are me, like this. Unfortunately, this Mayavadi impersonalism, uh, right now, it is being advertised in the whole world, unfortunately. And we have to remember that most of the organized religion in the world has influences of Mayavadi impersonalism. Bakit ko nasabi yun? Why did I say that? Because they don't have any information about the Supreme Personality of God and Krishna. They don't have any information about that. Kaya makita mo yung altar nila, puti lang. Lahat. Puti, or paminsan mayroon sila ilalagay niya na kung ano-ano dyan. But, you know, who are they relating to? Who are they relating to? Wala. Because they're saying that we are all God. Yeah. And who is God? I am God. Okay, you are God. Everyone is God. This is very unfortunate. But we are very lucky. We're very fortunate that we have a bona fide spiritual master. Our bona fide spiritual master tells us who exactly we are. We are not only spirit souls, individual spirit souls, but we are a dominated part and parcel of Krishna. Dominated po tayo, hindi po tayo dominators. Dominated means we are controlled by a higher force. Nature is actually higher than us. That's why we cannot control nature. Because if we are here, nature is here. And of course, who is here? The Supreme Person. So, uh, Buddhi yoga, or Krishna will be talking here about karma yoga. Karma yoga is almost exactly like bhakti yoga, because karma yoga is doing everything for Krishna. You can engage in material activities, so-called material activities, but if you do that for the pleasure of Krishna, that is also called karma yoga. If you do that in consonance with love and devotion for Krishna, that is called bhakti yoga. So in fact, what Kapila told his mother, Devahuti, in Srimad Bhagavatam, is actually, he was explaining about the essence, position, and function of the individual soul. He was actually speaking about karma yoga, buddhi or bhakti yoga. He was actually telling his mother all about this. Yeah. So let's read furthermore.
Haribol, namaste.
Haribol namaste. Si Elinet ba yan?
Yes po.
Go ahead, Elinet.
Mm. Text 40. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Activity in Krishna consciousness or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification is the highest transcendental quality of work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed, otherwise the whole attempt becomes a failure. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect, even though not finished. The
Mm.
performer of such work is therefore not at a loss, even his work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results, so that the next beginning is from the point of 2%, whereas in material activity, without 100% success, there is no profit.
Mm.
Ajamila performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100% by the grace of the Lord. There is a nice verse in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam 1:5-17. If someone gives up his occupational duties and work in Krishna consciousness, and then falls down on account of not completing his work, what loss is there on his part? And what can one gain if one performs his material activities perfectly? Or, as the Christian says, what profiteth a man if he gains the whole world yet suffers the loss of his eternal soul?
Mm.
Material activities and their results end with the body, but work in Krishna consciousness carries a person again to Krishna consciousness even after the loss of the body. At least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family. That will give one a further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness.
Mm.
Haribol. Thank you po.
Haribol, Elena, thank you very much. So, here Krishna is saying that uh, engagement in Krishna consciousness, if you're engaged in devotional service, that there is no loss. No, there is no loss. Kahit na, uh, like if this is the whole thing that you'll be engaging your whole life, that you just finish about 1 or 2% only, okay? Or you finish 50% and then you died, you left your body, etc. There is no loss to that. The spiritual gain is always eternal. It is always permanent. In other words, if you have not finished your devotional service in this life, you weren't able to graduate. Okay? In your next life, you will simply continue what you have left off. No? Dito ka na mag-continue. You don't go back to zero. Unlike in material activities, yung material activities kasi, there can only be success if you are able to finish the whole thing 100%. Yeah. If you are a contractor, for instance, you're building some residential house. Yeah, you have to finish everything before you're able to get paid. Correct? Otherwise, you will not get paid at all. If you left the scene without any good reason, yeah, you will not get paid. That is stated in the contract. That is material activity. So everything material that you do in this world, okay, must be done uh, to the point of you finish that job. Because if you don't, that is called unsuccessful, or it is called failure. Whereas in spiritual life, iba po, iba. spiritual life, if you engage in spiritual activity now and then all of a sudden, by a stroke of your own doing or undoing, okay, you fail to continue your practice in spiritual life. You again became involved with karmic activities or uh, materialistic activities. You again fell down. Okay, but that piece of time you engage in devotional service is never lost. It is never lost, po. It will remain because in your next life you will simply continue what you have left off dito na. Ganyan. So devotional service is actually for real intelligent class of men. Yeah. Material activities is for the foolish because they
Right.
don't know exactly. They don't know exactly what they are doing. They think that if I engage myself in material activities, I will be happy. I will be satisfied. I will be fulfilled. Hindi po. You and I, everyone in this room knows that no amount of material sensual pleasure can ever satisfy you, can ever satisfy the soul. Hindi po yan nakaka-satisfy yung material activities. Okay, so uh, Pinky, what time is it now? Sira yung phone ko.
8:54 po.
8:54. 8:54. Okay, one more reader, please. We want to read, Sharni or George?
Aribol, sir. Yes, sir.
Haribo.
Yes, sir. Translation.
Okay.
Aribol, namaste. Translation. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute in many branched purport. A strong faith in Krishna consciousness that one should be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyasa Vyasayatmika intelligence. The Chaitanya Charitamrita states, faith means inflicting trust in something sublime. When one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relationship to the material world with obligations to family, traditions, humanity, or nationality.
Yes.
Fruitive activities are the engagements of one's reactions from past good or bad deeds. When one is awake in Krishna consciousness, he need no longer endeavor for good results in his activities. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane, for they are no longer subject to dualities like good and bad. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of the material conception of life. This state is automatically achieved by progressive consciousness is based on knowledge. Vyasadeva sarvam iti sa Mahatma Sudurlabha, by which one can comes or which one comes to know perfectly what Vasudev or automatically distributed to the leaves and branches in Krishna consciousness. One can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied satisfied by one's actions, then everyone will be satisfied. Service in Krishna consciousness is, however, best practiced under the able guidance of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna, who knows the nature of the student and who can guide him to act in Krishna consciousness. As such, to be well versed in Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna, and one should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur instructs us in his famous prayers for the spiritual master as follows. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes satisfied, and not by satisfying the spiritual master, there is no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. I should therefore meditate and pray for His mercy 3 times a day and offer my respectful obeisances unto Him, my spiritual master. The whole process, however, depends on perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body, not theoretically but practically, when there is no longer chance for sense gratification manifested in fruitive activities. One who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various types of fruitive acts. Haribol, namaste po.
About Shani, thank you very much, Shani. So dito, no, uh, it is advised and um, um, that we are advised to accept a bona fide spiritual master because without the grace and mercy of a bona fide spiritual master, we can never advance in spiritual life. Hindi po tayo, paki-mute. Paki-mute lang. Mhm. Okay, thank you. So if you're not using your microphone, just mute it because, you will be heard in the room. So anyway, uh, the acceptance of a bona fide spiritual master is a must in one's journey to spiritual life. No, so if a person insists that I don't need a spiritual master, I just need the scriptures. I just need the scriptures. Anyway, I also have my um, the Lord in the heart. I have God in my heart. So that is enough for me. Okay. That is possible, but actually it is actually very difficult because if you're faced with a very difficult questions in life, okay, and then you are not given the answer. You're trying to find the answer in the sastras or scriptures, and you try to find the answers by praying the Lord within your heart. But totally uh, give up the necessity of a bona fide spiritual master, it is very, very difficult. Very difficult to understand and perfect your life in your spiritual journey. So one must accept a bona fide spiritual master. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is strongly suggested by Krishna himself. No? Krishna himself suggested that to Arjuna. One must approach a bona fide spiritual master, render service unto him, and offer all your respects unto him, and offer all your activities in his pleasure. Such a bona fide spiritual master can uh, bring you back to the spiritual world. In other words, bringing a person to the spiritual world means that you will be able to actually understand your relationship with Krishna in love and devotion by the mercy of the spiritual master. So hanggang dito na lamang po tayo. If you have any questions at all, you may do so. If you have any questions. May questions po kayo? No, there you go. Um, all right. Nimai, are you there, Nimai? Ready na kayo for the exit kirtan? Haribol, Nimai.
Haribol, sir.
Ready na kayo?
Apo, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Anytime. Maybe about 6 or 7 minutes, kirtan. Hmm.
G. G. D. G. D. D.
Haribol, spirit souls. Original sound for musician must be on. You turn that on, Nimai.
Okay na, sir. Sige na.
Okay. Can you hit the guitar?
Sige, sige.
See, go ahead. Hmm. People, thank you very much, sweet souls of Tupi, South Cotabato. Maraming salamat sa inyo for your exit kirtan. Maraming salamat din sa mga taga Zamboanga devotees. Thank you very much. Haribol, Jai Krishna. Yan. I'd like to thank Pinky for your assistance, Pinky, as well as George.
Thank you po, Haribol.
Haribol, namaste, Pinky. Um, thank you very much, Janner, your family, Mina and Kalkidas. Maraming salamat.
Salamat, Sir Haribol. Krishna Krishna.
Yeah. Vien, thank you very much, Vien. Cleo, thank you. Thank you so much. Cleo and Krishnadasi, as well as Isaac. Mr. Pravin, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr.
Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat din sa iyo. Lynette, thank you, thank you. And of course, Ma'am Ines Torres, maraming salamat.
Haribol, sir.
Goal. So, yun. Wala ka ngayon sa simbahan, Ma'am Ines? Nandun lang sina yung mga tiga,
Dito lang po ako sa bahay, sir. Bukas pa ako magpunta sa simbahan.
Okay. Okay, Ma'am Ines. Thank you very much, guys. From
Thank you po,
Zamboanga,
sir.
maraming salamat, as always. Jaya Krishna, Jaya Nitai Gaur. Yan. Ano na po tayo? Take good care of yourselves. It's a Saturday. Have a blessed morning or evening ahead of you. Jai Krishna, Jaya Nitai Gaur. Haribol.
Haribol. Thank you po.
Haribol.
RadhaSyam.